Capricorn January 2026, release control and rediscover joy. Capricorn, stop scrolling right now because January 2026 is your month to transform relentless ambition into sustainable success, workaholism into balanced achievement, and emotional guardedness into authentic connection. And I'm not going to let you leave this video until you understand exactly why this month will either make or break your entire year. Here's what's actually happening. You've been climbing and climbing, achieving and achieving, building and building. But for what? You've sacrificed joy, spontaneity, relationships, and your own well-being on the altar of success and responsibility. You've convinced yourself that rest is laziness, that emotions are weakness, that play is frivolous, and that you'll finally allow yourself to enjoy life once you've achieved. What exactly? That goalpost keeps moving, doesn't it? Listen carefully because what I'm about to tell you will fundamentally change how you approach not just January, but your entire life. Your relentless work ethic and incredible discipline are gifts until they become prison. Your ability to delay gratification and work toward long-term goals is admirable until you realize you've delayed joy so long you've forgotten how to experience it. Your emotional control and stoicism are strengths until they leave you isolated, lonely, and disconnected from yourself and everyone around you. Your sense of responsibility is noble until you're carrying everyone's burdens while neglecting your own needs and happiness. January 2026 isn't asking you to become irresponsible, lazy, or frivolous. You'll never be that person and you shouldn't be. But this month is demanding. And yes, I mean demanding because gentle suggestions don't work with Capricorn, that you answer these questions. When was the last time you laughed until you cried? When did you last do something purely for joy with no productive purpose? When did you last allow yourself to be vulnerable, to need someone, to not have everything under control? When did you last rest without guilt eating at you the entire time? When did you last let someone see the real you, not the capable, controlled, achieving version but the scared, uncertain, tender version you hide? And here's the part that's going to keep you watching because you need to hear this. If you don't make fundamental changes this January, you're going to look back at your life from your deathbed and realize you built an empire but forgot to live. You'll have achieved everything and experienced nothing. You'll have impressed everyone and connected with no one. You'll have all the success and none of the joy. So don't you dare close this video. Don't scroll away thinking I'll watch this later because you know you won't. Don't tell yourself this doesn't apply to me because it absolutely does. Stay right here because I'm about to give you the exact roadmap for transforming from the grim, joyless workaholic you've become into the successful, balanced, genuinely happy person you're meant to be. And if you're already thinking I don't have time for this, I have work to do, that's exactly why you need to keep watching. That thought right there is the problem I'm about to solve. The cosmic intervention. Why January 2026 is your wake-up call. Let me tell you exactly what the universe is doing to you this month, and why ignoring this will cost you everything that actually matters. Saturn, your ruling planet, is positioned in ways that are asking you the hardest question you've ever faced. Have you become so controlled by your need for control that you've stopped actually living? Have you achieved so much external success while creating internal emptiness? Have you climbed so high that you can't even remember why you started climbing? And before you tell yourself, I'll deal with this later, after this project, after this promotion, after I hit this goal, stop. That's the lie you've been telling yourself for years. There is no after, there's only now. And right now, you're running out of time to course correct before you've wasted your entire life being impressive instead of being happy. Early January brings Capricorn energy intensified, which should feel like your element, right? But here's the twist. It's showing you the extreme version of yourself. The version that's all work and no play, all responsibility and no joy, all control and no spontaneity, all achievement and no experience. It's holding up a mirror and forcing you to look at what you've become. And I know you don't like what you see. I know you're about to close this video because it's uncomfortable. Don't. Sit with this discomfort because it's the only thing that's going to save you from a life of hollow achievement. Around mid-January, planetary shifts will create situations where your usual control methods don't work, where you can't just work harder to solve the problem, where success requires vulnerability, connection, joy, or spontaneity, all things you've systematically eliminated from your life. These situations are tests. They are asking, can you be successful without sacrificing everything that makes life worth living? Jupiter is expanding your home and emotional foundation sectors, offering you opportunities to actually create a life you enjoy living, not just achievements you can list on a resume. But these opportunities require you to value rest, connection, and joy as much as you value productivity. Can you do that? Or will you let these opportunities pass because they don't directly contribute to your professional goals? Pluto recently moved into Aquarius and is beginning a years-long transformation of your resources, values, and self-worth. This is asking, what do you actually value? Is it truly the work, the achievement, the status? Or is that just what you've convinced yourself to value because emotional connection and joy feel too vulnerable, too unpredictable, too out of your control? Here's what's at stake this month. If you lean into this transformation, you'll discover you can be successful and happy, achieving and connected, disciplined and joyful, responsible and spontaneous. You'll build the sustainable, balanced life you've been too afraid to admit you desperately want. But if you resist, if you double down on workaholism and emotional control, you'll keep climbing toward goals that don't actually fulfill you, achieving things that don't actually matter, and building a life that looks impressive from outside but feels empty from inside. Which one are you choosing? Because you are choosing, whether you realize it or not. Not choosing is choosing the status quo, and the status quo is killing you slowly. Keep watching because I'm about to tell you exactly how to choose differently. January 1st to 10th, the uncomfortable truth inventory. I know what you're thinking right now. Okay, I get it. I need balance. I'll work on that. But first I need to finish this project, meet this deadline, hit this goal. No, stop. That's the addiction talking. Workaholism is addiction, Capricorn. And like any addiction, it requires you to keep telling yourself just one more, then I'll stop. The first 10 days of January are about getting brutally honest, more honest than you've ever been, about what your relentless achievement focus has actually cost you. And I'm not going to let you minimize, rationalize, or defer this work. The joy audit. When was the last time you experienced pure joy? Not satisfaction at completing something, not relief when a project succeeded, but actual bubbling up joy and delight. Can you even remember? If you have to think about it for more than 5 seconds, that's your answer. It's been too long. Track yourself for 3 days. Do you laugh? Do you play? Do you do anything purely for enjoyment with no productive purpose? Or is every moment either work or recovery from work? Most Capricorns will discover there's no joy. There's only achievement and rest to enable more achievement. That's not living. That's existing as productivity machine. And here's what you're going to tell yourself. Joy is frivolous. I have responsibilities. Maybe when I've achieved X, then I'll focus on joy. That's the lie that's going to keep you trapped forever. Joy isn't reward for achievement. It's necessary component of actual living. The relationship audit. Who actually knows you? Not the competent, controlled, achieving version. The real you with fears, insecurities, needs, vulnerabilities. If the answer is no one or maybe one person I barely let in, you're living in isolation even if you're surrounded by people. List your relationships. For each one, ask, do they know my struggles, my fears, my dreams? Or do they just see my achievements and capabilities? Am I vulnerable with them? Or do I maintain image of having everything together? Capricorn often has many professional relationships and few deep personal ones. You've traded connection for respect, intimacy for competence, being known for being admired. And you're lonely. Admit it. The workaholism assessment. Be honest. You're a workaholic. You work evenings, weekends, vacations. You think about work constantly. You feel guilty when not working. You define your worth by productivity. You judge people who prioritize anything over work. You can't remember the last time you were truly off. This isn't dedication. It's addiction. And like any addiction, it's destroying your health, relationships, and any possibility of genuine happiness. Track your actual working hours for 1 week. Include time spent thinking about work, checking emails, doing just quick tasks. You'll probably discover you're working 60 to 80 plus hours weekly. That's not sustainable. That's slow suicide. The emotional availability check. When did you last cry? When did you last express fear, sadness, or vulnerability? When did you last ask for help or admit you couldn't handle something? If these questions make you uncomfortable, that's your answer. You've shut down your emotional life so completely that you can't access feelings that aren't directly related to achievement. You tell yourself emotions are weakness, vulnerability is danger, needing people is failure. But emotional shutdown doesn't make you strong. It makes you isolated, disconnected, and increasingly depressed even if you won't admit it. The rest guilt inventory. When you rest, how do you feel? If the answer is guilty, anxious, like I should be working, like I'm wasting time, like I'm being lazy, you have serious problem. Rest isn't laziness. It's biological necessity. but you've so internalized toxic productivity that you literally cannot rest without feeling like you're failing. This is going to kill you. Maybe not tomorrow, but eventually your body will force the rest you won't give it voluntarily through illness, burnout, or breakdown. The perfectionism check: is anything you do ever good enough? Or do you constantly find flaws, ways it could be better, reasons to keep working on it? Do you torture yourself over small mistakes? Do you hold yourself to impossible standards? Capricorn perfectionism isn't about excellence, it's about fear. Fear of being seen as inadequate, fear of losing control, fear of being vulnerable to criticism. So you work yourself to death trying to be beyond reproach. But perfection is impossible. Chasing it just means you're never satisfied, never at peace, never able to enjoy what you've achieved because you're already focused on what's next. The postponed life inventory: what are you postponing until someday, or when I have time, or after I achieve X? Travel, hobbies, relationships, rest, joy, living. Make a list, be thorough, then realize someday never comes. The goalpost keeps moving. You will never achieve enough to give yourself permission to actually live. You have to choose it now or never. The death awareness exercise: imagine you're on your deathbed looking back. What will you regret? Will you wish you'd worked more, achieved more, been more productive? Or will you regret not loving more, living more, connecting more, experiencing more joy? You know the answer. Everyone does. No one regrets not working more. But you're living like you will. Why? Now here's the part where you want to close this video and go back to work because this is too uncomfortable. Don't. This discomfort is the alarm going off. You can hit snooze and go back to sleep, or you can finally wake up. Choose wisely. The values clarification: what do you actually value? Deep down, underneath the conditioning and the fear, do you truly value achievement above all? Or have you just convinced yourself that's what matters because it's safer than vulnerability? Write down what you want your life to be about. If the answer is achievement, success, respect, status, and nothing about connection, joy, love, experience, or growth, you're lying to yourself. Those things matter. You've just been too afraid to admit it. By January 10th, you should have uncomfortable awareness of joy deficit, honest assessment of relationship depth, recognition of workaholism, acknowledgement of emotional shutdown, understanding of rest guilt, clarity about perfectionism, inventory of postponed living, death awareness perspective, and honest values clarification. And I know what you're thinking. This is depressing. I came here for astrology, not therapy. Good. You needed therapy more than astrology. The discomfort means it's working. Don't you dare stop watching now. The first 10 days showed you the problem. The next section tells you exactly how to fix it. And if you leave now without getting the solution, you're going to stay stuck in this miserable pattern forever. January 11th to 20th, the radical integration experiment. Okay, you've seen the problem. You know you're a joyless workaholic who's achieving everything and experiencing nothing. Now what? This is where most Capricorns bail. You don't like the next part because it requires doing things that feel uncomfortable, frivolous, and unproductive. You'll want to skip this section and go back to work. But if you do that, nothing changes. You'll be having the same realization next January, and the January after that, until eventually you die never having actually lived. So make a deal with me right now. Commit to trying the practices in this section for just 10 days. 10 days out of your entire life. If after 10 days you genuinely prefer being a joyless workaholic, fine, go back to it. But you owe yourself 10 days of trying something different. Still with me? Good. Here's what you're actually going to do. The mandatory play requirement: schedule minimum 1 hour daily for pure play. And before you say I don't have time, yes you do. You waste hours on work that doesn't actually matter. You have time. You're choosing not to prioritize it. Play means activity with no productive purpose, no goal, no achievement attached. Dancing, playing with pets, playing games, being in nature, creating art, playing music, anything you do purely because it's enjoyable. You'll feel guilty the entire time initially. Do it anyway. Set a timer if you need to. The guilt will lessen with practice, but only if you actually practice. The vulnerability challenge: share something genuinely vulnerable with someone you trust. Not "I'm stressed about this project." Real vulnerability: I'm scared I've wasted my life working. I'm lonely. I don't know how to enjoy things anymore. I'm not okay. This will feel like dying. It's not. It's actually living. Vulnerability creates connection that competence never can. You've been so defended for so long that you've forgotten what real connection feels like. Choose wisely who you're vulnerable with. But choose someone. Because isolated Capricorn is miserable Capricorn, even if you won't admit it. The rest without guilt practice. Rest for minimum 2 hours daily without doing anything productive. No productive podcasts, no relaxing while thinking about work, no multitasking. Actual rest. Read fiction. Take a bath. Stare at the wall. Nap. Lie in bed doing nothing. Watch something mindless. Whatever lets your nervous system actually calm down. The guilt will be overwhelming initially. Notice it. Don't act on it. The guilt is programming, not truth. Rest is necessary, not selfish. The delegation experiment. Delegate or eliminate at least 5 tasks or responsibilities you don't actually need to do. Capricorn takes on everything because you don't trust others to do it right, and you feel responsible for everything. But everything being on you isn't noble, it's control issue. Other people are capable. Let them prove it. You don't have to do everything. This will feel like losing control. You're not losing control, you're releasing unnecessary burden. There's a difference. The spontaneity practice. Do something unplanned every day. Take different route home. Try food you've never had. Have conversation with stranger. Say yes to unexpected invitation. Do something without researching and planning it to death first. Life isn't project to be managed. It's experience to be lived. Spontaneity is how you access that. But spontaneity requires releasing control, which terrifies you. Feel the fear. Do it anyway. The world won't end if you don't plan everything perfectly. The emotion work. Feel your feelings. When sadness, fear, loneliness, or any negative emotion arises, don't immediately suppress it, analyze it away, or distract yourself with work. Sit with it. Feel it. Let it move through you. Emotions aren't problems to solve, they're experiences to feel. Emotional suppression doesn't make you strong, it makes you numb. You might cry for the first time in years. Good. You need to. Decades of suppressed emotion needs release. The connection deepening. Spend quality time with someone you care about. Not productive time, not transactional time, but actual quality connection time. Be present. Listen. Share. Be vulnerable. Let them matter to you. You've kept everyone at arm's length for so long that you've forgotten what real intimacy feels like. Let someone in. Yes, it's scary. Do it anyway. The boundary setting. Here's the one that'll shock you. Set boundaries around work. No work after certain hour. No work on weekends. No checking email outside work hours. Actual boundaries. You'll immediately think of 17 reasons this is impossible. They're all lies. Other people have work boundaries and survive. You can too. Your worth isn't determined by your productivity. Working yourself to death doesn't make you valuable. It makes you exhausted and eventually useless. The achievement release. Complete something and then actually celebrate it instead of immediately moving to next goal. Acknowledge what you've accomplished. Feel satisfaction. Rest in completion before starting next thing. Capricorn achievement addiction means you never actually enjoy what you achieve because you're already focused on what's next. Break this pattern. Let achievement be enough, even for just a moment. The professional help consideration. If you've recognized you're deeply burned out, depressed, or unable to access joy despite trying, consider professional help. Therapy isn't weakness, it's wisdom. You'd hire an expert for any other serious problem. Mental health is no different. Now here's what's happening in your head right now. This all sounds nice, but it's not realistic. I have real responsibilities. I can't just play and rest all day. This is privileged nonsense. That's fear talking. Fear of change. Fear of losing control. Fear of being vulnerable. Fear of discovering you've wasted years being miserable for no good reason. The practices above aren't asking you to abandon all responsibility. They're asking you to balance responsibility with joy, achievement with experience, productivity with rest. That's not unrealistic. That's called healthy living. But here's the critical part, and this is why you need to keep watching. If you don't implement these practices now, in these specific 10 days when cosmic energy supports you, you'll slide back into workaholism immediately. January 11th to 20th is your window. Use it or lose it. And I can see you looking at how much video is left, thinking I'll just skip to the end to see what else is there. Don't. Every section builds on the previous one. If you skip, you miss crucial information. Trust the process. Stay with me. January 21st to 31st. Sustainable integration and life redesign. Okay, you've tried play, vulnerability, rest, delegation, spontaneity, feeling emotions, and setting boundaries. For 10 days you've experimented with being human instead of productivity machine. And one of two things has happened. Option 1, you discovered that life with balance is actually better. You're sleeping better. You're laughing more. People are responding to your vulnerability with connection. You feel lighter. Work is actually more effective when you're rested. You're remembering what joy feels like. Option 2. You did the practices half-heartedly while resenting them, counting down until you could go back to normal, and now you're ready to dismiss this whole experiment as waste of time. If you're option 2, I need you to be honest with yourself. Did you actually give this a real try? Or did you sabotage it because change is scary and being workaholic is familiar even if it's miserable? Because here's what you need to understand, and this is crucial. So if you've been half watching while thinking about work, focus now. This isn't about completely abandoning achievement or discipline. Those are your gifts. This is about adding joy, connection, and actual living to the achievement and discipline. It's both and, not either or. The final third of January is about making mid-month experiments into sustainable life design, rather than just temporary deviation from your real life. The sustainable schedule creation. Take the practices from mid-month and build them into sustainable weekly schedule. Not, I'll do this when I have time. Actual schedule time for rest, play, connection, spontaneity, emotion processing, and work boundaries. Treat these commitments as seriously as work commitments. You wouldn't skip important meeting because you didn't feel like it. Don't skip rest or play for the same reason. Create schedule that includes specific work hours with hard stops, designated rest time, scheduled social connection, time for play and joy, exercise and movement, and solitude for emotional processing. Yes, this means you'll work fewer hours than you currently do. That's the point. You're discovering you can achieve as much or more in focused work time than you previously did in exhausted all the time work. The value alignment. By now, if you've actually done the work, your values are shifting. Achievement still matters, but it's not the only thing that matters. Connection, joy, health, experiences, relationships, these are starting to feel as important as professional success. Write down your actual values now. Compare to what you wrote January 1st to 10th. Notice the shift. This shift is healthy. Lean into it. Align your daily choices with these new values. If connection matters, prioritize it. If joy matters, schedule it. If rest matters, protect it. Your behavior should reflect your actual values, not just your stated ones. The relationship deepening, the vulnerability you practiced mid-month needs to continue and deepen. Keep sharing. Keep letting people see you. Keep asking for support when you need it. You're discovering people actually like real you more than perfect you. Vulnerability creates intimacy. Asking for help makes people feel valued and trusted. You don't have to do everything alone. Deepen key relationships by consistent quality time, continued vulnerability, reciprocal support, and actually showing you care instead of just being reliable. The joy integration. Play and joy from mid-month can't be temporary experiment. They need to become permanent parts of your life. Keep doing things purely for enjoyment. Keep laughing. Keep dancing. Keep playing. You're remembering how to be human instead of just achievement machine. This is good. This is healthy. This is actually what life is supposed to include. If you're thinking, but this feels frivolous and self-indulgent, that's old programming. Joy isn't frivolous. It's essential. You're allowed to enjoy your life, not just tolerate it between achievements. The work relationship redefinition. Work is part of your life, not your entire life. Work is what you do, not who you are. Your worth isn't determined by your productivity. These are hard truths for Capricorn, but they are necessary. Redefine your relationship with work. It's important but not everything. It deserves your focus during work hours but not 24/7. It's allowed to be satisfying but not your only source of meaning. And achievements matter but experiences matter more. The rest normalization. By now, rest guilt should be decreasing if you've been practicing. Rest is normal biological need, not shameful weakness. Keep resting without guilt. Keep protecting rest time. Keep honoring your body's needs. You're discovering, well-rested Capricorn is more effective than exhausted Capricorn. Rest isn't obstacle to achievement, it's foundation for sustainable achievement. The emotion acceptance. Emotions from mid-month might still feel uncomfortable, but you're getting better at allowing them. Keep feeling. Keep processing. Keep being human with full range of emotions instead of just achievement-focused ones. You're learning. Emotions don't destroy you. Vulnerability doesn't mean weakness. Needing people doesn't mean failure. And emotional authenticity creates connection that emotional control never can. The boundary maintenance. Work boundaries you set mid-month need consistent enforcement. People will push back. They're used to 24/7 access to you. Maintain boundaries anyway. When work pressure increases, you'll be tempted to just this once abandon boundaries. Don't. Every time you violate your own boundaries, you're telling yourself they don't really matter. They do matter. The perfectionism release. You're learning to accept good enough instead of requiring perfect. You're learning to be satisfied with efforts instead of torturing yourself over every flaw. You're learning that imperfect action beats perfect inaction. This is ongoing work. Perfectionism is deeply ingrained. But every time you choose good enough over perfect, you're choosing sanity over suffering. The life enjoyment, this is a big one. You're actually starting to enjoy your life instead of just enduring it until the next achievement. You're present for moments instead of always living in future goal. You're experiencing life instead of just managing it. This might be the first time in years, maybe ever, that you've actually enjoyed being alive rather than just being productive. Notice this. Appreciate it. Protect it. Planning February and beyond. As January closes, you're planning differently than you used to. Old Capricorn planning was all work goals and achievement metrics. New planning includes work goals and quality of life goals, achievement and experience, productivity and joy, discipline and spontaneity. Create February plan that maintains all the January integrations while also moving toward your goals. You're learning you can have both achievement and joy, success and balance, discipline and spontaneity, ambition and peace. Here's what you're discovering by January 31st. The balanced life you're building is actually more successful than the workaholic life you abandoned. Rested, joyful, connected Capricorn achieves more than exhausted, isolated, joyless Capricorn. Who knew? By month's end, you should feel more alive, more connected, more joyful, more balanced, more human. You should be sleeping better, laughing more, enjoying life more. You should have deeper relationships and actual rest. Work should feel like part of life, not whole life. You shouldn't feel guilty about rest, anxious when not working, isolated and lonely, emotionally shut down, or like you're just enduring life until some future achievement makes it worthwhile. And if you don't feel these positive changes, be honest, did you actually do the work? Or did you just watch this video while planning to do it later? Because here's the brutal truth I've been leading up to this entire time, watching this video changes nothing. Knowing all this intellectually changes nothing. Only actually implementing these practices changes your life. And most Capricorns won't implement them because change is hard and workaholic misery is familiar. Don't be most Capricorns. Be the one who actually changes. But wait, I'm not done with you yet. Because even if you implement everything I've said, there are specific relationship and career traps that will sabotage all your progress if you don't understand them. And I'm about to tell you exactly what they are and how to avoid them. So don't close this video thinking you've got all the information. You don't. The next sections contain the specific tactical advice that makes the difference between temporary improvement and permanent transformation. Relationships deep dive. From fortress to connection, let's talk about why you're lonely even though you're surrounded by people. Let's talk about why no one really knows you. Let's talk about why your relationships feel transactional instead of nourishing. You've built fortress around your heart. Every brick is a defended competence, a suppressed emotion, a vulnerability you refuse to show, a need you won't express, a I'm fine when you're not fine. You tell yourself the fortress protects you. But from what? From being hurt, from meeting people, from being seen as weak or inadequate. Here's the truth. The fortress doesn't protect you. It isolates you. It keeps hurt out, but it also keeps love out. It keeps vulnerability out, but it also keeps connection out. You're safe inside your fortress, but you're also alone. January is about dismantling the fortress brick by brick. Not all at once. You'd panic, but gradually, deliberately, courageously. For single Capricorns, when you meet someone interesting, your instinct is to assess if they're worthy, maintain control of the situation, keep emotional distance, evaluate them against your standards, and decide if they fit into your life plan. What you don't do, be vulnerable, show genuine interest in them as human, let them see your uncertainty or imperfection, or risk being hurt. This approach keeps you safe and single. If you actually want partnership, you need to let people see real you, scared, uncertain, imperfect you. Show genuine interest in who they are, not just what they achieve. Be vulnerable about your feelings and needs. Risk being hurt because real connection requires risk. And stop evaluating everyone against impossible standards. You're looking for someone who has their life together like you do. But together often means defended, controlled, emotionally unavailable. Look for someone who can be real with you. That's actually more valuable than impressive resume. For couple Capricorns, your partner probably complains that you don't share feelings, you're always working, you don't make time for connection, you're emotionally distant, or you treat relationship like project to manage rather than connection to enjoy. They're right. You do all these things. And you do them because vulnerability terrifies you, emotions feel out of control, Connection requires presence you don't give, and managing is easier than feeling. But managing relationship isn't same as being in relationship. Your partner doesn't want perfect, they want real. They don't want you to have everything together, they want to know how you actually feel. They don't want to be managed, they want to be connected with. Practice with your partner, sharing how you actually feel, including fear, sadness, insecurity, asking for what you need, including comfort, support, reassurance, being present, showing affection, and letting them see you struggle. You think vulnerability will make them respect you less. Actually, vulnerability creates intimacy that competence never can. Try it. The control release. You try to control relationships like you control everything else. You decide when to see people, how deep to go, what's appropriate to share, when to trust. You maintain all the power. But controlled relationships aren't real relationships. Real connection requires both people having power, both being vulnerable, both risking being hurt. Let go of control. Let relationship develop naturally. Risk being hurt. You won't die if someone hurts you or leaves you. But you will stay lonely forever if you maintain such tight control that no one can actually reach you. The emotional availability. You're emotionally unavailable. You suppress feelings, minimize needs, and present image of having everything together. People can't connect with image, they connect with humanity. Practice emotional availability. Name your feelings out loud. Share struggles, not just successes. Ask for support when you need it. Cry in front of people. Admit when you're overwhelmed, and let people comfort you. This feels like weakness. It's actually strength. Emotional availability creates connection. Emotional shutdown creates isolation. The time investment. You don't make time for relationships because work always comes first. People in your life feel like they get your scraps of attention, your exhausted presence, your divided focus. Relationships require time and presence. Quality time, not just being physically present while mentally working. Make time. Prioritize it. Show people they actually matter to you instead of just saying it while never being available. The vulnerability practice. Every week, share something genuinely vulnerable with someone. Build the muscle of letting people see real you. Each time you're vulnerable and survive, it becomes slightly easier. Start small if needed, but start, because fortress you've built is keeping you safe and miserable. Vulnerability feels scary but creates connection that makes life worth living. By January's end, your relationship should feel deeper, more real, more reciprocal, more nourishing. You should feel more known, more connected, less lonely, more supported. And you should be more vulnerable, more emotionally available, more present, more human with people you care about. Keep watching because the career section is coming and it contains the specific tactical advice that prevents you from sliding back into workaholism the moment work gets intense. Career mastery. Achievement without self-destruction. Here's what you need to understand about your career. You're successful, but at what cost? You've achieved things, but have you enjoyed the journey? You're respected, but are you happy? January is about redefining professional success to include not just achievement but also sustainability, enjoyment, balance, integrity, meaning, and not destroying yourself in the process. The enough recognition. When is enough enough? What achievement will finally be sufficient for you to rest, to enjoy, to feel you've made it? The truth you already know. There's no enough. The goalpost keeps moving. You hit one goal and immediately focus on next one without ever feeling satisfied. This month, practice acknowledging achievements before moving to next goal, celebrating completions even briefly, feeling satisfaction instead of immediately focusing on what's next, and recognizing that you've already achieved enough. Continuing is choice, not necessity. You're allowed to feel satisfied. You're allowed to be proud of what you've accomplished. You don't have to always be reaching for more. The sustainable achievement. Your current pace isn't sustainable. You know this. You're exhausted, probably dealing with health issues, sleep-deprived, and running on stress hormones. Sustainable achievement requires work hours that don't destroy your health, rest that actually restores you, boundaries that protect your well-being, delegation that prevents overwhelm, and realistic goals that don't require sacrificing everything else. You can still achieve ambitious goals. Just do it sustainably instead of through self-destruction. The delegation deepening. You don't have to do everything yourself. Other people are capable. Letting go of control won't destroy your career. It will enhance it by preventing your burnout. Delegate more. Trust more. Let others prove their capability. Develop people instead of just doing everything yourself because it's easier or better. You're not the only competent person. Act like it. The boundary enforcement. When work pressure increases, Your boundaries will be tested. Hold them. The work will still get done. You just won't destroy yourself doing it. Practice saying, I'm not available outside work hours, that deadline isn't realistic, I need to delegate this, or I can't take on more right now. Boundary setting isn't unprofessional. Working yourself to death is. The meaning alignment. Does your work actually mean something to you? Or are you just climbing because that's what you do? If your work feels meaningless despite being successful, something's wrong. Success without meaning is empty. Reassess. What would make work feel meaningful? What changes would align career with your actual values? You don't have to quit your job to find meaning, but you might need to reframe how you think about it or make some changes to how you approach it. The relationship building. Professional relationships shouldn't be purely transactional. Build genuine connections with colleagues, mentors, mentees. Let people know you. Be vulnerable about challenges you face. Ask for help. Offer support beyond work tasks. Humanizing professional relationships makes work more enjoyable and creates support system instead of just transactional exchanges. The rest integration. You'll be more professionally effective when well rested than when exhausted. Stop wearing exhaustion as badge of honor. Rest. Protect sleep. Take actual breaks. Use vacation time. Rest isn't obstacle to achievement, it's foundation for sustainable high performance. The perfectionism management. Good enough is good enough for most things. Save perfectionism for what actually matters. Most work doesn't require perfection, it requires completion. Your perfectionism is slowing you down, creating unnecessary stress, and preventing completion. Choose strategic excellence, rather than across-the-board perfectionism. The enjoyment permission. You're allowed to enjoy work. You're allowed to have fun with colleagues. You're allowed to celebrate wins. You're allowed to find satisfaction in process, not just outcomes. Work doesn't have to be grim endurance test. If you're miserable all the time despite being successful, something's very wrong. The long-term vision. What does success look like 10 years from now? Just more of the same? Higher position but same misery? Or actual life you enjoy living? Define long-term vision that includes professional achievement and personal fulfillment, career success and relationship depth, impressive resume and actual happiness. Then make choices now that move toward that integrated vision instead of just climbing higher while becoming more miserable. By month's end professionally, you should have sustainable work schedule, enforce boundaries, delegated responsibilities, meaning-aligned work, deeper professional relationships, regular rest, manage perfectionism, some work enjoyment, and clear vision for integrated success. You should feel still ambitious but not destructively so, still disciplined but not punishingly so, still achieving but also living, and successful in ways that actually matter instead of just impressive on paper. Now here's the part where I tell you exactly what happens next, and why you absolutely cannot stop watching until you hear this crucial final section. The final integration. Your choice point way at the end of January. You've done the work, or you haven't. You've experimented with balance, joy, vulnerability, rest, or you've made excuses about why you couldn't. You're at a choice point, and this choice will determine not just February but the entire trajectory of your life. Choice 1. You take everything you've learned this month and actually integrate it. You continue prioritizing joy alongside achievement. You maintain boundaries. You stay vulnerable. You protect rest. You keep letting people in. You build life that's both successful and enjoyable. If you make this choice, 1 year from now you'll be still achieving but also genuinely happy, still disciplined but also joyful, still ambitious but also balanced, still respected but also loved, still successful but also actually enjoying your life. Choice 2. You dismiss this entire month as nice experiment and go back to workaholism, emotional shutdown, joyless achievement. You tell yourself you'll work on balance later after you hit some goal that keeps moving further away. If you make this choice, 1 year from now you'll be more successful on paper but more miserable in reality, more achieved but more isolated, more respected but more lonely, more disciplined but more joyless, exactly where you are now but older, more exhausted, and closer to the breakdown you're headed toward. Which choice are you making? Because you're making one right now, whether you realize it or not. Not choosing is choosing the default, and the default is slow self-destruction through overwork. Here's what I need you to understand. This video wasn't just information. It was intervention. The universe is literally intervening in your life through me right now, showing you exactly what you need to see, giving you exact roadmap for change. And most people, most Capricorns, will watch this entire video, agree with everything, feel momentarily inspired, and then do absolutely nothing different. Don't be most people. Here's your specific action plan for right now. Today, This moment. Immediate actions. 1. Schedule 1 hour of pure play today. Right now. Put it in your calendar like you'd schedule important meeting. 2. Text someone you care about and share something vulnerable. Not work stress, actual vulnerability about how you're feeling. 3. Set one work boundary starting today. Decide what it is and enforce it. 4. Schedule rest time for today and protect it like you protect work commitment. 5. Write down your new values, the ones that include joy, connection, rest, not just achievement. This week, implement full sustainable schedule including work boundaries, rest time, play time, connection time. Practice vulnerability with at least 2 people. Delegate at least 3 responsibilities. Do something spontaneous at least 3 times. Feel your feelings instead of suppressing them. This month, maintain all practices from mid-month section. Deepen relationships through continued vulnerability. Redefine professional success to include balance and enjoyment. Create life that's both ambitious and joyful. Prove to yourself you can have both achievement and happiness. Warning signs you're sliding back. If you notice any of these, course correct immediately. Working evenings and weekends again. Feeling guilty when resting. Suppressing emotions. Canceling social plans for work. Feeling joyless despite achievements. Or telling yourself you'll work on balance later. Accountability. Comment below right now with 1 specific commitment you're making based on this video, 1 practice you're starting today, and 1 thing you're releasing. Writing it publicly creates accountability. Do it now. And here's the final piece, the one that makes all the difference. You need to watch this video again. Not later, not someday, in exactly 1 week. Because 1 week from now, you'll have started sliding back to old patterns. You'll have made excuses about why you couldn't do the practices. You'll have just this once violated your boundaries. You'll need this reminder. So set a reminder right now to watch this video again in exactly 1 week. Then in 2 weeks. Then monthly. Until these practices are so integrated they're automatic. This is how change actually happens. Not through one-time inspiration but through consistent recommitment. The truth you've been avoiding. You're going to die someday. Maybe in 50 years. Maybe tomorrow. And when you're on your deathbed, you will not wish you'd worked more, achieved more, been more productive. You'll wish you'd lived more, loved more, laughed more, connected more, experienced more joy, been more present, let people in more, worried less about achievement and enjoyed the journey more. You know this is true. Everyone knows this. But most people live like they don't know it until it's too late. Don't be most people. Choose differently. Choose now. Because January 2026 isn't just another month. It's your wake-up call, your intervention, your cosmic opportunity to change trajectory before you waste your entire life being impressive instead of being happy. The universe is showing you the door, but you have to walk through it. I can't do that for you. The cosmic energy can't do it for you. Only you can make this choice. So right now, in this moment, what are you choosing? Joyless achievement or balanced success? Emotional shutdown or vulnerable connection? Workaholism or sustainable ambition? Existing as productivity machine or actually living as human being? Choose, and then act on that choice. Because knowing change is nothing. Only doing change is everything. And if you made it all the way to this point in the video without skipping, without closing it to watch later, without dismissing it as not applying to you, that means something. That means some part of you knows you need this. Listen to that part. Honor it. Act on it. Your life is waiting. Not your impressive life. Not your successful life. Your actual life. The one with joy, connection, rest, vulnerability, play, meaning, and genuine happiness. Go live it. Capricorn, I need 3 things from you right now. Not later. Right now. 1. Hit that like button if anything in this video resonated. If you felt called out, seen, uncomfortable, or inspired, like this video. It tells YouTube to show this to other Capricorns who desperately need to hear this message. 2. Subscribe and turn on notifications because next month I'm going to check in on your progress. February's forecast will specifically address how to maintain January's changes when life gets hard. You need that accountability. 3. Comment below right now with your specific commitment. Format. I commit to starting today. I'm releasing. Hold me accountable. And share this video with any Capricorn you know who's working themselves to death, achieving everything and enjoying nothing, or succeeding at the cost of their actual life. They need this intervention too. This isn't just astrology. This is life-changing information if you actually apply it. But only if you actually apply it. The choice is yours. Choose wisely. Your life depends on it.